What is up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. We're going to dive into a bunch. We had some big news for the Hashgraph Association. So we have some big pieces of news today, such as the US Senate voting to kill the SEC's crypto accounting policy SOB 121. In a recent press release from the BIS, the central bank of all central banks related to crypto assets. But just thinking that Brad Garlinghouse went on the news and for the first time I've ever seen has given a crypto price prediction for the crypto market cap reaching $5 trillion this year, 2024. Is he just bullish? Does he know something we don't? And it's just hard to ignore that.
There are more crypto owners in America than there are dog owners. Right? 65 million people own a dog, 85 million people own crypto.
Alright, let's kick it off. First up, that clip was shared by Good Morning Crypto of Mike Novogratz sharing that 65 million Americans own a dog and 85 million Americans own crypto. I'm curious where he got that stat, and I know there are millions of crypto holders, but it feels like for me on a monthly basis, I still run into people that don't own any crypto, they don't know anything about Bitcoin, altcoins, or DLT. And whenever I hear about the number of crypto users, I'm always going to be referring back to what Raul has right here of crypto users versus internet users, showing if we follow the same annual growth rate and crypto is growing faster. So we can see the internet users is this white line. During their first 8 years, they had a 76% annual growth rate. For crypto is higher at 137%. So the number of crypto users are growing faster, but if we did just grow at the same rate as the internet right here, between year 8 to year 10 at 43%, this takes us to 1 billion users in 2025. So for me, it's not a matter of if we get to 1 billion users in the crypto asset class, it's just a matter of when, especially considering the tokenization stats. And when we look at internet users today, that's around 5 billion people. So we know the total addressable market is huge with billions of people, but when you take it to IoT sensors and IoT devices, this is billions and trillions more. Even applications between Hedera with Avery Dennison, Atma.io with 22 billion items connected to the cloud. And even considering crypto users on the retail side, you and me, we most likely hold more than one asset, and there are assets that we may have multiple wallets for. Next up, we have some breaking news for Hedera shared by Zepsi. The Hashgraph Association right here secures $40 million in funding from QFC Authority to launch a $50 million digital assets venture studio. So this is funding from the Qatar Financial Center, with the goal to support regulatory compliant DeFi solutions and digital assets leveraging the Hedera network. And this builds on the $250 million or $250 million deep tech venture studio that was announced earlier this year that we covered before, for applications building on Hedera in the field of AI, IoT, robotics, and quantum computing. So definitely have to keep tabs on this. The venture studio will commit $50 million to startups over the next 5 years. Hashgraph will be committing $10 million to the fund. So this is an example of other jurisdictions outside of the US understanding the future. Next up, one other big piece of news from HBAR before we dive into others shared by the HBAR Foundation. We have the latest news from SKUX or SKUX Digital Payments, which leverages Hedera's Hashgraph to track the issuance and redemption of payments, providing unparalleled transparency and reporting. So we can see SKUX and Visa to enable seamless digital payment consumer experiences for merchants and CPG companies. So for anybody curious, an SKU or SKU is a stock keeping unit, a unique code that identifies a specific product or item in a store or inventory. So SKUX has signed an agreement with Visa, and this is similar to a lot of enterprises we're seeing beginning to serialize different products and events, which is important to be able to integrate with blockchain. So this payments platform is designed to enable seamless virtual payments to consumers anytime, anywhere, regardless of the business objective, allowing companies to engage directly with their consumer by delivering a client-branded real-time Visa digital payment to a mobile device. What's cool about this is SKUX Digital Payments leverages Hedera's Hashgraph for its DLT. So we're definitely going to see more use cases like this in the future, the importance of connecting or leveraging DLT for auditability, transparency, so many things. So I know HBAR is still below its previous all-time high, but it's really hard to ignore the funding and the developments, especially considering right here on Santmit, its 30-day dev activity, Hedera is in second place. Next up, shared by Bank XRP, a new video directly from Ripple highlighting modular finance for seamless payments across the UK and Europe. And notice what he says right here, the Bank of England. So we're operating on the same basis as the large clearing banks.
So Modular decided to join RippleNet to work with a partner that had the same values as us, as providing better, superior access to the payment networks. So with Ripple, we're bringing that in a much more simplified, easy access form. We believe we bring very strong access to the local network. So as a strategic clearing partner, here in the UK and Europe, we have deep direct access. So we're one of the few non-bank financial institutions that have direct access to the Bank of England. So we're operating on the same basis as the large clearing banks, but bringing quality and service through our API technology that enables that access through RippleNet. We decided to work with Ripple and specifically integrate with RippleNet because we felt that was a strong proposition for our clients and for us to be able to offer out our services and access to the European clearing systems and the UK clearing systems on a broad basis, on a global and international basis, and whether that's through real-time access to the transaction flow, the data, but also the clearing is really critical for us, and we believe Ripple have the same values, the same focus, and will deliver significant benefits to our partners and to their customers in terms of being able to access digital services real time and therefore drive economic value and benefit to the end customers.
Next up, shared by Roth Economist, so we can see that Medico is moving under Ripple custody, which is super interesting. And he asks a great question: has Ripple adopted Harmonize as part of their own tech stack or just integrated it into an existing product? Curious if it supersedes the Liquidity Hub or integrates. So what he's referring to is Harmonize. This is their product, their institutional digital asset orchestration system. And what we can see with Medico, and Ripple acquired them for $250 million, so $250 million, so it's hard not to think that Medico is a huge part of their plan. Deploying digital asset use cases, store, trade, transfer, tokenize and manage, connect and embed. And I always go back to this, shared by Ripple and Medico, predicting the crypto custody market is expected to reach a staggering $10 trillion by 2030. But just thinking that Brad Garlinghouse went on the news and for the first time I've ever seen has given a crypto price prediction for the crypto market cap reaching $5 trillion this year, 2024. Is he just bullish? Does he know something we don't? And it's just hard to ignore that. Especially when you look at the information that Raul has shared predicting the crypto cycle top to be between 10 to 12 trillion. We just don't know when and how fast this could happen, and as Raul emphasized, with these liquidity cycles, which is really interesting, if this does play out, this could be the biggest bull run in history. And for many, we're only going to believe it when we see it, which is completely fine after every single bear market, after all of these black swans and regulatory concerns. But as an investor in a nascent asset class, the only way you're going to make it is having that long-term conviction. And through the ups and downs, that potential is there this entire time. Next up, shared by Casper Network, we have one of the latest Casper Accelerate program grantees highlighting its potential to revolutionize digital asset management on Casper Network. This is called the Dispense Wallet Telegram bot, making managing blockchain wallets easier by offering a non-custodial solution within the Telegram application for the Casper blockchain. So we know the Casper Association alongside Constellation, the company Ripple, and XRP Labs joined the DREC Alliance. So we have seamless integration with Telegram. Send and receive Casper the token effortlessly, choosing recipients directly from your contacts. So this is pretty cool. I would like to see these types of applications for a bunch of networks with all types of social media accounts for your Twitter and X, Instagram, even other messaging platforms like WhatsApp. I really loved the old XRPL tip bot that used to be on Twitter years ago. I wish that more networks had those tip bots. I wish they had different things so I could tweet using smart contracts on Casper, XRP Ledger, or Hedera for a giveaway. So I could basically tweet something and it could be a giveaway bot and it tracks who retweets, who likes, who follows. And those who enter provide their own deposit address, and then after the time expires, they automatically get X amount of tokens by this day. That'd be really cool. Just more infrastructure for different Web3 apps to basically integrate with Web 2. So you could say maybe Web 2.5 applications. It kind of reminds me of the other news that Casper is working with Meta or Facebook, working with Instagram rewards, leveraging Casper's blockchain. I know they moved forward in their beta. I need to keep tabs and see if there's any other developments. We also know the Actis conference is taking place in DC, and we have a new blog post from Casper. And if successful, this is a massive use case. The question is, how long does this actually take to develop? Because if Casper is the first mover with Actis, with the Actis Foundation, this is a big deal. We know from the CEO of Nucleus Finance, which is running on top of Casper, that the financial contract market is a $50 trillion market opportunity. So this is a Medium blog put out by the Casper Association if you want to check this out, just highlighting Actis, explaining what it is, and really just the overall value add. Really good information, and this was highlighted over at Davos by the gentleman from Actis, I believe the chairman, in a video we've shared before, that just over 30 smart contracts are required. These programs and if-and-then statements are required to account for every single type of financial contract in the world. So they have just over 30 smart contracts or algorithms that can account for any financial contract, a loan, repayment plans, terms for a bond, etc. And I'll keep covering this because even the gentleman from Actis basically says that Actis, to realize its full potential, has to leverage blockchain. Next up, shared by Tom Emmer, we know him, he is a pro-crypto congressman, saying, "Crypto is in the middle of a policy tug-of-war between the administrative state and the American people. Congress just passed the SAB or SAB 121 repeal on a bipartisan basis. If Biden vetoes, it proves he wants to kill opportunities for Americans at the expense of Americans." We have shared by Stuart Alderati, Chief Legal Officer for Ripple. Finally, something that Democrats and Republicans can agree on. Gensler's unauthorized overreach when it comes to crypto will not be tolerated. So friendly reminder here, my intention isn't to get political and divide people left versus right. I'm just anti-Gensler. And right here, the US Senate votes to kill the SEC's crypto accounting policy, testing Biden's veto threat. We have a really important clip shared by Bank XRP of the founder and CEO of the Digital Chamber, explaining why SAB 121 is a disaster and should be nullified or ended by US Congress.
We led that effort on the Hill. We did a very significant campaign working closely with Congressman Flood as well as many other members to help them understand just how devastating this is and why this really impacts the American financial system from being able to compete in this new technological frontier. And that led to Congress pushing on the Government Accountability Office to look into this. The GAO issued a report just a couple months ago, and their findings verified that the SEC had violated the Administrative Procedures Act in the way that it put forward the SAB 121 rules. And what that means is that Congress can completely nullify it. So just last week, a joint resolution was introduced in both the House and the Senate to fully nullify SAB 121 or end it. So there are some silver linings here, and we have seen a number of SEC actions towards the digital asset industry be shut down and disputed and fought. This is another example of that. Congress needs to pass this joint resolution, and if it does, we will end SAB 121. This is a huge focus of ours at the Chamber of Digital Commerce. We are putting significant pressure on Congress to get this done and to end SAB 121 for good.
So typical of the SEC with regulatory overreach, trying to regulate an asset class that is brand new using laws that were created 70 years ago before the internet even existed. So I know there are good people in office, but Gary Gensler, I don't believe is one of them. He is looking after his own interest. He is a puppet. He is looking after the interests of other corporations, along with Vanguard that has over $100 million of Gensler's personal fortune. And there's a difference between regulation and overregulation. Clear guidelines are good, and that's important for any asset class to have true institutional capital. But overregulation isn't good at all. This is going to push more companies outside of the US. And right now, other jurisdictions throughout Europe, the UK, we have throughout the UAE, Japan, all of them are moving forward. Also, my buddy Tim shared this with me the other day from the BIS, essentially the central bank of all central banks, and some news or a recent press release related to crypto assets. So just a few bullet points right here. We have this Basel Committee, and they were formed from the G10 countries about 50 years ago for banking reform and banking supervision, relating to international regulation, supervision, and risk management. So this group of central bank governors and heads of supervision, the oversight body of the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, met on May 13th. And basically, the implementation of this prudential standard for banks' crypto asset exposures has been postponed to January 1st of 2026. So this standard has been pushed back another year. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What's important to know is that the central bank of all central banks is working on standards for crypto asset exposure. Imagine the trillions of dollars in circulation out there and even just 1% or 5% of crypto assets on some of these banks' balance sheet. So this standard aims to provide a regulatory framework for banks' exposure to crypto assets for better financial stability. Long story short, this can be seen as a big step toward integrating crypto with these formal financial regulations. And with these standards, there's going to be more scrutiny and regulations, but this is also necessary, just maybe not regulations from the SEC. Basic regulations are requirements to have to hold higher levels of capital against crypto exposure to enhance stability. So overall, the implementation of these Basel III standards for crypto assets is a step towards acknowledging and managing the financial risks associated with digital assets, aiming to safeguard against systemic risks while promoting a healthy environment for technological advancements, supposedly. And last but not least, guys, we have iTrustCapital linked in the top of the YouTube video description. I've had a Roth IRA here in crypto for just over 4 years. If you use the link below to create an account, you get a $100 funding reward, and they have some big news related to a new subsidiary called iTrustCapital Services. If you're already an iTrustCapital member today, you should have received an email explaining the benefits of the improved platform capabilities, improved reporting, better security, etc. And friendly reminder, this platform is free. There are no monthly costs or annual costs or hidden fees that you're hit with. If you're just holding your assets in cold storage long term, you're paying absolutely nothing, and there's just a 1% transaction fee whenever you buy and sell. So for any US resident to even start with as little as $1,000 in a Roth IRA, which is tax-free over the long term, it makes sense for me. So I actually rolled over a Roth IRA that was in the S&P 500, and it's been in crypto ever since. Feel free to check them out. I am looking forward to many more different assets available in the future. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Big thanks to all that hit the like button, and until next time. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.